please. All right. So remember, Brendan just found the one-man band video. Now he knows Chase is probably innocent. He sent that text for everyone to come view it. Chase Ambrose, 25. There's something important you have to see. I stared at Brendan's text on my phone. What's the big deal he needs to show me? Probably nothing. Chances are he really is just trying to rope me into helping him with a YouTube video. Although he says that's not. I don't care. The fact that he texted me at all is something. I haven't heard a peep from any of the video club kids since the day in the music room. Who can blame them? They all heard how I lied about the electrical fire. And they don't know about the really bad thing I did. To be honest, I'd give anything to be a part of one of Brendan's goofball videos again. They're always hilarious, and I could use a good laugh right about now. I can't remember the last time I laughed. Nothing has been funny lately. The most unfunny part is that I just found out about myself. Yeah, Aaron and Bear are jerks. My dad's pushy, and the video clubs have turned on me. But I am the worst of all of them. I'm a criminal, and the fact that I don't remember it doesn't change what I did. Remember, Aaron and Bear told him, excuse me, you're the one that stole the medal. And he doesn't know where the medal is. How could I do such a thing? The question that doesn't need answering. I didn't do it. The old me did it. And it's no mysterious that the old me was capable of pretty awful stuff. I stole Mr. Salloway's Medal of Honor in his room at Portland Street. One sleazy act of many, courtesy of Chase, Aaron, and Bear. I have no idea what I plan to do with it. Sell it, probably, and split the money with my two accomplices. But that little plan went sour when I stashed it somewhere. I then went and got amnesia and can't remember my hiding place. No wonder Aaron and Bear are so suspicious of me. They thought I was holding on to them so I could keep the profit for myself. And the worst part is, I can't even give the medal back to Mr. Solway because I have absolutely no idea what I did with it. And I don't know how to find out. Maybe it'll come back to me in bits and pieces like some of my past. But when? It could take years. What if Mr. Solway dies in the meantime? How could I ever make it right? It's funny. The idea of going back to Brendan's house stings, even though I've only been there once before. When I had the accident, I never longed for my old life because I couldn't remember it. But my new old life, video club, and my new friends, losing that hurts a lot. Since this time, I know what I'm missing. And it hurts twice as much because of how quick those guys were to turn against me. Maybe that means we were never really friends, even though I thought we were. My partnership with Shoshana felt that way for sure. When the two of us were working side by side, interviewing Mr. Solway, editing Warrior, I was positive that we were creating something amazing together. All the kids in video clubs finally started trusting me. Even Joel was kind of warming up to me, or so I thought. I must have been nuts. In the end, that's why I decided to go to Brendan's. If he's reaching out to me, that's a good thing. I leave the house and step into a beehive of activity. Boxes and furniture are scattered all over the lawn next door. 4 big guys are loading everything into a moving truck. That's right. The Tottenhams are moving today. Supposedly, they're really nice neighbors who were really great to Johnny and me growing up. Mom is sad that they're moving. I have no clue, of course. When you've got amnesia, it's hard to relearn the important people in your life. You tend to lose the crowd on the fringes. I'm cutting across the grass in the direction of Brendan's when the 2 movers step out the front door carrying a large frame picture. I gasp and for a second forget to breathe. It's her. The little girl in the blue dress trimmed in white lace. My only memory that has stuck with me through the accident. I think about the hours I spent agonizing over that image, where it came from, and whether I might be hallucinating the whole thing. But no, here she is, the same red ribbon and her blonde hair. I see details that aren't in my memory, like she's standing in a garden surrounded by flowers, and there's a little watering can in her hand. I didn't imagine her at all. I remember her from the painting in my neighbor's house. I run over to Mrs. Tottenham, I don't know how to say the name, who is wringing her hands over the handling of a carton marked super fragile. That painting, I exclaim, my voice is hoarse. Did you ever show it to me? Oh, hello, Chase, he chuckles. That's just a reproduction, of course. The original Renoir would be worth tens of millions of dollars. Yeah, okay, I say breathlessly. But why do I know it? Did I ever see it in your place? I don't think so, dear, she tells me. It was hanging in the upstairs solarium. I follow her pointing finger to the glassed-in sunroom on the second floor of the house. So I didn't see it, but I did. How else could it be the only image to make the trip through my shattered memory. My eyes travel from the Tottenham home to ours next door. Could I have looked inside their solarium from one of our upstairs windows? No way. The entrance of our house is around the corner, facing away from theirs. Our dormer is the front. The sunroom faces nothing but the chimney and some of the sloped shingles. The only way to see the painting from our place would be to climb up to the top of the roof and peer over the peak down into the huge glass window. And suddenly, I just know. I run back inside, tear up the stairs to my bedroom, and step onto the perch that was so much part of my old life. I start to climb, my rubber-soled sneakers clinging to the rough shingles. The dormer, which house is my room, is beside me, but the leaves a slope path that is about 3 feet wide, leading straight up to the top. As comfortable as I am on this section of the roof, right outside my window, the steep slope to the peak is another ball game. The grade is sharp, and the higher I go, the clearer the image of exactly what must have happened over the summer becomes, and how far I must have fallen. The ground seems so distant and should be out of another zip code. I'm amazed I didn't dash my brains out on the grass. Okay, so right now he's remembering what is happening right before he fell. So he saw this picture, and this picture is in a high window, so the only way he could have seen it was to be on this part of his roof, and now he's traveling there. Why is he traveling there to go see? I don't really know. I get on my hands and knees, and ascent becomes a crawl. I feel a little more secure this way, especially as I near the apex, where I use my right arm to cling to the dormer. I'm pretty scared, but I'm even more determined to get up there. For me to remember the little girl in the blue dress, she must have been the last thing I saw before the accident. That makes sense, since the roof is the only place I could have seen her from. I can't explain it, but I'm positive the key to what happened to me lies a few feet ahead. I stretch out my arm to get a grip on the A-frame and haul myself up to gaze down at the Tottenham's house. There it is, the floor-to-ceiling window of the sunroom. I can even make out the large faded rectangle on the wall where the picture must have hung. Okay, I think this is where I fell. But it still doesn't answer the big question. Why did I come up here? Was I spying on the Tottenhams in their sunroom? I was brought enough, but why would I care what they were doing? Besides, according to Mom, we were friends. We could have all just knocked on their door. Why bother to climb halfway up to the moon? Frustration wells up inside of me, mingling with disappointment. So the little girl in the blue dress tells me where I fell from, but that's it. As I inch my back away from the peak, I extend my right arm, steadying myself against the cedar shakes on the side of the dormer. No sense repeating my swan dive off the roof, although it's more than I deserve. I almost slip on one of the shakes pulls away. A terrified gasp escapes me as I slide a little before stopping my descent with my feet. I hang like a fly to the wall while the racing of my pulse returns to normal. Then, that's when I catch a glimpse of a blue behind the dull brown of the loose shake. There's something back there, wedged in behind the loose wood. I know what it is, even before I reach for it. Anyone want to take a guess? What's there? Type it in my chat. What is there? What's behind? So, like, the shake is like kind of like a shingle thing, like, but there's something loose. He says something's behind it. What's behind it? Ooh, everyone's guessing the metal. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, we're about to find out. My hand closes on a silky blue ribbon, and as I draw it out, I feel the weight of the military decoration attached to it. The gold five-pointed star catches briefly on some insulation, and there it is. Mr. Solway's Medal of Honor, stolen, hidden, forgotten, and discovered again. Then, as if finding the medal has unclogged the drain, the memory of my accident pours back into me. It starts at the apex of the roof, with me gloating about the brilliance of my hiding place while peering down through the sunroom window at Mr. Tottenham next door. He is in a lotus position on the floor, performing awkward yoga in front of the painting of the girl in the blue. That's what does me in. The hilarious sight of my overweight neighbor twisted into a pretzel looking at a giant mountain lemon as his skin-tight fluorescent yellow workout suit. I let go for just a second, reaching for my phone to get a picture of this one-man comedy routine. The next thing I know, I'm skidding down the roof, the rectangular patterns of shingles becoming a blur as I pick up speed. I crawl madly up the slope and desperate for a handhold, a foothold, anything to stop my descent. It's no use. My momentum is too much. I'm falling. When I hit the eaves, I flip over a little, giving me a terrifying view of the yard as it screams up to meet me. I know, dizzying acceleration, and I brace for impact, but the memory never ends there, and I don't have to hit the ground a second time. So that's what happened. The mishap that turned my entire life upside down and almost killed me. Serves me right for snooping on poor Mr. Tottenham. How is it my business if he wants to do yoga in a form-fitting spandex? But that was the old Chase. Everything was his business because he was it. What was I planning to do with the picture if I managed to get my phone out of my pocket? Show Aaron and Bear and the football team, post it on Facebook, print up 50 copies and plaster them all over town? I sigh. Who knows why that Chase did what he did? I should probably just be grateful I don't have to be him anymore. The metal clutched tightly in my palm. I climbed down gingerly, carefully to keep both hands and feet on the roof at all times. My mind is whirling. Brendan's house will just have to wait. Nothing there can be as important as returning this to its rightful owner. I have to see Mr. Solway. Near the eaves, I slide my butt to my window and throw my leg over the edge. Chase? Uh-oh. Mom. You promised you wouldn't go on the roof ever again. Do I have to nail your window shut? I just blow past her. Sorry, Mom, I tossed over my shoulder. Gotta go to Portland Street. You haven't finished yelling at you yet. Have you forgotten what happened to you last summer? Do you have amnesia about amnesia? That's funny. I run down the stairs calling, I'll explain later, in the kitchen. I snatch a soft dish towel off the drying rack and wrap it around the metal. I jam it into my pocket and blast out the door. All right, so remember, his old friends just reached out to him like, hey, come to my house, and now he's not going to go to his house. So, I don't, like, are they going to think he's blowing him off? But he's like, no, we're turning this metal, numero uno, most important thing. Joel Weber. My back guy doesn't hurt anymore, although I look like I lost a game of chicken with an Amtrak train. Appearance-wise, the healing process might be worse than the bruise itself. It's when the swelling starts to go down that the new colors sprout up amid the black and blue. Purples, greens, yellows. Every time I catch my reflection, there's a whole different palette in the piece of the modern art on my face. I saw a little bit of orange yesterday. I'm the only one in my family who finds the changing colors around my eye socket so intriguing. In a weird way, it's easier on me. If I'm sick of looking at myself, all I have to do is stay away from mirrors. My parents don't have that option. When they see my black eye in the stages of evolution, they're sickened with guilt. Maybe it's the wrong decision to bring you home, my father reflects sadly. Of course it wasn't wrong, I try to assure them. I hated Mountain. But aren't you afraid that my mother lets out a short, wheezing sob in C sharp? It might be starting up again? Afraid. Sure I am. When Chase, Aaron, and Bear were all over me last year, it was painful, humiliating, and downright scary. If you can't even ride your bike without a lacrosse stick sailing out of nowhere and sending you flying, life becomes impossible. You know it's not your fault, and you know those guys are idiots, and yet you can't help thinking that you somehow deserve it, that you might be a teensy bit less worthy than everybody else. After all, how come no one is picking on any of them? But as worried I am about all of that, I think what bothers me most is how wrong I was about Chase. I honestly believed he'd change. I was even starting to like the guy. It goes to show how mistaken a person can be. My parents' reaction is bad enough. My sister's is off the chain. Everything in the bruised topograph of my face launches her into a new revenge fantasy about what she would do to Chase. If I were in charge of the world, some of these are so brutal and in some cases are so downright gross, I have to cut her off. Come on, Josh, I explained as the two of us head to Brendan's house on Sunday morning. Listen to yourself. Like you'd ever put another human being through a wood chopper. I never said another human being, she replied evenly. I said alpha rat. And if you were paying attention, I said I'd feed him in feet first. That way he gets to watch his whole lower body. Enough, I interrupt. You wouldn't do that. Nobody would do that. The Spanish Inquisition didn't do that. Only because wood chippers hadn't been invented yet, she tells me solemnly. Anyway, I sigh, anxiously to change the subject. I run to Brendan once. What do you think? She snarls, still in a bad mood. He has another stupid idea for a YouTube video, and we're the cast and crew. The text said that's not, I remind her. It better not be, otherwise Brendan's going to be in the wood chipper. That's my sister. No problem. No problems ever. So small that she can't overreact to it. We start up the Espinazo's front walk and come face to face with Kimberly. Oh, hi guys. She gives me a hard look. Your eye is Better, she adds dubiously. I'm okay, I say quickly. I don't want Sash to nominate any more candidates for the wood chipper. You also got the text? My sister asks Kimberly. She nods. And Chase is coming too. What? Chase? Josh grabs my arms and starts dragging me back down the walk. Brendan explodes out the front door and runs up to us. Where are you going? Chase Ambrose isn't coming anywhere near me and my brother, Josh sleeds. That's why I invited you. Chase is innocent. She keeps pulling me along. Well, not totally innocent, Brendan pleads. But he didn't hit Joel on purpose. He was just blindsided as we were. I've got proof. What proof? I ask. One-man band, he explains. The video survived, and it proves that Chase was trying to stop Aaron and Bear. We're going home, Shasta insists. You go home, I tell her. I'm staying. Here, she demands, with that guy coming over? This time, I don't let her push me around. I want to know what happened. I have to see it for myself. And she stays too, probably because she thinks I need protection. A lot of guys would be embarrassed about that, but I'm at least a little bit grateful. Any minute, Chase is going to walk in Brendan's front door, and I can't predict how I'm going to feel about it. I've seen him around school here and there. Still, this is the first time since the fire extinguisher incident that we'll be in the same room together. We establish ourselves on the living room couch, and Brendan sets up the computer on the coffee table. I transferred this from one of the foot cams, he explained. I brought it home to shoot something else, and this was on it. He puts out some snacks, and we settle in to wait for Chase. 20 minutes go by, then a half hour. Kimberly is impatient, mostly because Chase is the only reason she's here. Where is he? Brendan texts again. No answer. Well, what did you expect? Josh scoffs. He said he was coming, Brendan insists. He cares as much about you as he cares about everybody else except himself. Zero. Face it, he blew you off. My sister stands up. Let's go, Joel. We've already wasted enough of our lives, courtesy of Chase Ambrose. I turn to Brendan. Play the video. Chase can see it some other time. We fast forward through most of it, watching the musician Brendan popping up all over the risers, playing different instruments for his one-man band. He switches into regular playback once the tuba sequence comes up. I feel my stomach muscles tense. As much as I've been bullied, I'd never had the opportunity to actually watch it happen before. The impatient expression on Shasta's face is replaced by one of intense concentration. I don't get it, Kimberly puts in. All I see is Brendan. Where's everybody else? You and Joel are there. You're both out of the frame, Brendan explains. Keep watching. We hear Aaron and Bear fling open the doors, even though they're off camera. The first thing we actually see are the two jets of white of foam that catch Brendan full in the face. He goes down, tuba and all. It would be funny if I didn't know what was coming next. When the streams of foam change direction to target off scene to the right, I know I'm the one in the line of fire. There's a lot of yelling going on, and I hear my own voice in there with Brendan, Kimberly, and the two attackers. After a few more blasts of foam, Aaron and Bear step into the frame, appearing on the left side of the screen. The next part I remember all too well. Aaron and Bear are tossing instruments all over the place, trashing the band room. I tried to take on Aaron, but he shoves me down into the foam. It's hard to watch, but not as hard as I thought it would be. This is not who I am, I tell myself. It's just something that happened to me. Somehow, seeing it unfold in real time in a high-definition video, I'm able to expand the freckles in the band room to include every rotten bullying thing that was ever done to me. And here I am, alive, undamaged, well, except my eye. I've been victimized, but I don't have to let that define me as a victim. I'm back at home, and back to myself. That's when Chase makes his appearance on the computer screen. He seems totally stunned by what he finds. Even when Bear thrusts the fire extinguisher into his arms, he sits forward eagerly. But that's my fire extinguisher, and the one that's about to bash me in the eye. I watch Chase and Bear struggling over this shiny metal cinder. I tense, knowing it's coming any second. I'm following the combatants, checking for the high sign and nod of acknowledgement to show that the three are in cahoots. And this time, to clobber the kid who got them put on community service, it doesn't come. Chase wins the tug of war, and my face gets in the way. That's all that happens. Brendan pauses the video. An accident, he says triumphantly. I agree, I tell him. Wow, Chase must be really strong, is what Kimberly gets out of it. Like, Kimberly, get your life together. Like, she doesn't even know what's happening. Yeah, she just loves Chase so much. Josh's cheeks are bright red as she digests the truth. My sister judges everything and everybody so harshly that when her judgment falls on herself, it's the end of the world. He's still alive, she says, tight-lipped. He's not perfect, Brendan agrees. But think of the trouble he would have been facing if he gotten blamed for it. If it was you and you saw an easy way out, wouldn't you take it? Josh is stubborn. I wouldn't be in a mess like that because I don't hang around with pond scum. I look at her. We have to talk to him. We at least have to talk to him. I'm accepting more of an argument, but she nods. And I can think of plenty of things to say. One of those things should be, I'm sorry, Brendan puts in pointedly. She glares at him. We'll see. But If it is, it'll be the last item on my list. Where is Chase? Kimberly asked in annoyance. Brendan said he was going to be here. Brendan is already on the phone calling Mrs. Ambrose. He frowns, thanks her, and hangs up. According to his mom, he's on his way to Portland Street. She said he was in a real hurry. Did he forget to come, I ask? Brendan shakes his head. He said he'd be here. He just texted a couple hours ago. Cha stands up. Let's go over to Portland Street. 27. Aaron Hickman. We hate him. Well, we don't hate him. Hate's a strong word. But, dun. Young man, we've been waiting nearly half an hour, the Dumbledore tells me. You promised to set up the card table for us. We'll get to it, I tell her. We're busy. This old bat has a voice like screeching gears on a truck with a bad transmission. You don't look very busy to me. You're just standing around the snack cart eating the cookies you're supposed to be spatching out. Which is a big job. Bear pretends to be outraged. You expect us to do it on an empty stomach? Chill out, I advise Dumbledore. 5 more minutes. Once again, Aaron and Bear being mean to the older people at Portland Street. It goes without saying that community service at the Graybeard Motel is about as much fun as sticking your hand in a garbage disposal. The one good thing is that you get to mess with the residents. Okay, who likes to mess with old people? Clearly bad people. She's been begging us half the morning to set up an extra card table in the rec room so she and her 3 other blue hairs can play bridge. We've been having a few laughs seeing how long we can blow her off. 5 minutes? Try 5 hours, maybe 5 days. If she doesn't like it, let her set it up her own card table. She's built like a sumo wrestler. In frustration, she retreats into the rec room, and Baron and I crack up. Oh, we'll do it for her eventually, right before her head explodes. That's the art of it, picking the moment to give in just before she's about to report us to the nurses. We help ourselves some more cookies, but Bear tries to hog the last chocolate one, and we end up down on the floor, fighting for it, laughing like crazy. The cookie is crushed before either of us can eat it. Like, they're in a residence home, or a old person home, and they're literally just acting like no one's there. Like, they're literally wrestling over a cookie. Like, that's probably not the appropriate place to be wrestling, and especially over a cookie that's not even yours. We're getting back to our feet, brushing off the dust and crumbs when I see him. Chase striding down the hall like he's on the Amazing Race, in a real hurry to get somewhere and not too thrilled about it. Ever since our fight on the football field, he hasn't been turning up for community service. Not that he's really on it anyways. I guess he's back, or at least he's back visiting his video star, the nastiest old Dumbledore in the building, overflowing with them. Bear, who has amazing sight, spots the bulging pocket first. Looks like he's carrying a baseball, but there's a piece of cloth trailing from the opening. Hey, Ambrose, I called. What you got there? He ignores me, shifts his path to the opposite side of the corridor. Bear blocks his way. The man asked you a question. Another shift, so I step out beside Bear, and together we block the hall. Chase does exactly what a running back would do on the football field. He puts his head down and tries to blast through us, but we're linemen, and we could stop him cold. In the game, I'd be trying to stripe the ball. In this case, I reach down and grab the white fabric and yank. A dish towel opens up in my hands, and something flies out of it and hits the terrace floor with a clink. Star-shaped blue ribbon, the geezer's medal. Chase falls on it like he's recovering a fumble. Bear and I go down on top of him. 2/3 of that is ours, I snarl. It belongs to Mr. Sullivan. He doesn't care, Bear grunts. He barely remembers he even got it. Get off! Somehow, he heaves us both clear and scrambles to his feet, clenching the medal in his hands. You're not going to win this, man, I tell him. It's not even unfriendly. I'm giving him valuable information. We're taking the medal no matter what we have to do to you. He hesitates, considering his options. During the pause, Dumbledore comes out into the hall. What's going on out here? It's more than 5 minutes. We need our table set up now. Oh, I'll do it, offers Chase, grabbing the opportunity to get away from us. The medal concealed in his fist. He escorts Dumbledore into the rec room. Bear starts to follow him, but then I hold him back. Too many witnesses, man. Be patient. He can't stay in there forever. We watch like hawks from the doorway, figuring he might try to stash the medal and come back for it later, when we're not around. If it's in his right hands. He never opens those fingers while he's setting up the folding table and chairs. He keeps one eye on us. I favor him with a grin that says, we're going to get you if we have to stand here until the next ice age. He's toast. Bear whispers triumphantly. The only way out of this room is through us. The Dumbledores in the rec room are fawning over Ambrose like he just saved the world from Lex Luthor or something. They love him as much as they hate us. It's enough to make you barf. He even takes a small potted plant from the TV cabinets and sets it on the table to be a centerpiece. The blue hairs are practically wriggling with joy. Then, as Chase turns, his elbow knocks the pot off the table and hits the floor, shatters, spilling earth all over the place. Bear loves it. Ha! Idiot! Ambrose rushes to the corner where the vacuum cleaner stands up against the wall. He plugs it in and starts to clean up his mess. We almost miss it. As he runs the vacuum back and forth over the dirt, he opens his hand and drops the metal into the unit path. In a heartbeat, it's sucked up and gone. He glances over his shoulder to see if we notice. I pretend we didn't, but Bear's face is bright red. It's a dead giveaway. Chase is vacuuming toward us, speeding up, breaking into a run. The plug pops out of the wall. The vacuum falls silent. He keeps moving, though, charging at us. Bear and Aaron and I block the doorway and brace ourselves to deck him again. Just before impact, he lifts the vacuum cleaner like a battering ram and slams into us. Okay, so there's two teenagers standing there, and Chase literally has a vacuum cleaner. Okay, I mean, we're going to assume at the old people residence, it's not like a fancy Dyson vacuum cleaner. We're going to assume it's a regular big old vacuum cleaner that has the metal inside the, bag full of dust. And he has it and he's just, yeah, I don't know. It cracks me up. We're both knocked back on our butts, choking in the clouds of dust that the collision forced out of the filter bag. By the time our vision clears and we struggle back up again, Ambrose is almost out of our sight down the hall, still cradling the vacuum cleaner. We stare at each other. And the minute we get our breath back, we chorus, "Get him!" We take off after our star running back. We've never been able to outpace him before, but this time he's carrying a vacuum cleaner, not a football. That's bound to slow him down. Man. So he is dead set that he is going to give this medal back to Mr. Soloway no matter what happens. That's a good idea to get it sucked up by the vacuum cleaner. I wouldn't have thought of that. All right. We are going to stop there. Don't get off yet. Tomorrow, we might be able to finish this book tomorrow if Mrs. Kneifel reads fast, forever obsessed with it. Don't forget, you have to finish your read works by tomorrow at the end of the day. So by the end of the day tomorrow, not Friday, tomorrow. This will be posted, of course. Bye. Yes.